this is Dr. Carla Michelle, and I am here today to just talk about The Free Woman, How to Live Free Every Day. The book I just dropped, you can find it on Amazon. But what I want to do on this platform is just to go over the book with you. And there are times that we are going to dig deep into what's inside. It's a lot of great things inside, some good nuggets, some meaty things. So this book, I have to tell people, it's more than just something to read. It's something to do. It's a part of your morning, it's a part of your evening. It's journal entry, it's contemplation, it's something to do with a book club. There are so many things that this book can be used for. So as I go through it, we'll be discussing a lot of what the chapters hold, as well as talking about how to apply those into our lives. And I believe that you will find something helpful as you stay tuned as we work through The Free Woman, How to Live Free Every Day, which is available, did I say this, on Amazon? All right, get your book because we're going to go over it and then take a minute to finish it all. But we're going to go through this book and dig a little deeper. Let me just start with there's a welcome if you have your book on page 5, and it talks about what is awaiting you. And like I said before, it's not just a book to read, it's a book to learn from, it's a book to take in, it's a book to live free daily. It's going to move you forward. And that's one thing, that's one thing that I find important when I'm coaching, is that a lot of people are used to therapy, and therapy is beautiful, therapy is great. Coaching, the way I work, is to move you forward. Not saying therapy is not that, but I am very intentional about, we can talk about your past, we can talk about your pain, we can talk about your goals, but the purpose of working with me is to move you forward. How do we get you to point A to point C? You know, B is in there, but how do we move you faster, stronger, intentionally? And it can throw people off when they come and they're expecting therapy, talk therapy. You are able to talk, but this is about work. Someone even asked, I just want, pray for me. And I'm like, well, I don't mind praying. People say, pray for me. Things are going on. Prayer is great, but prayer also requires actions. So if your prayer has been, I want to work towards freedom this year, next year, the years to come. If that has been your prayer, then get this book. This is the thing that is going to support your actions, to give you actions. I don't want to use another word. Give you focus, daily focus. That each time that you put this book up, even if it's not daily, that you are focused on moving forward. And that is how we get to where we need to be in life, is focusing intentionally on moving forward and not giving so much time to the past, to the hurt, everybody's got a past. But if you want to be free, man or woman, however you identify, if you want to be free, we have to let go of the past. We have to. We have to let go of yesterday. We have to let go of the last minute. We have to stop having a bad moment mess up our whole day. Because it can. I'm not saying it can't. It can in certain, it depends how, large it is. But there's some little things like I forgot my lunch at work, and then your whole day's, no, don't give it that much power. Don't give that one thing that much power. How can you turn around? And little things like that. But there's big things in here too that we're going to work on. So this book, it's about welcoming the journey, knowing that you're going to be saturated with things that are going to push you forward to transform, that you are limitless. And I want this book, my goal in writing is to help you feel like you are limitless, that there's nothing that can hold you back. There's nothing that could keep you down. There's nothing that you feel or comes to you that you, oh, excuse me, I'm so excited, feel or do that you can't stop, that you can't push through, not just stop, that you can't push through. All right. I had a thought and I want to share this saying, but I was, my brain was working and I want to say it right, but I'll wait on that. So, embracing the process of the book, you may feel overwhelmed. I've had readers tell me, well, it was so much. It could be a quick read if you want to just whoop through it, but if you want to do the work, it was so much. So it was, take a few minutes, put it down, regain your focus, reset your mind, because this is a journey. This is a journey. It's a process, not just the destination of being free, but it's the process because you want it to stick. I can introduce this to you, or we can teach it and educate it and that where it becomes something that you're able to recall. And I think that is more powerful than just introducing, hey, get my book, The Free Woman, How to Live Free Every Day. That's the introduction. But the education or the training on the book is when we can have these times together and we can go through the book and we can apply it, application to our lives, to our everyday lives. And that's where change comes. I think the biggest change that I've had in my life is application. It is educating myself and then applying it. They said the best thing that you can ever do when you're learning something is to go teach someone else. So, hey, even if you don't finish this book, go find something that you can go help somebody else with. And you will find through your day, through your week, or through your month that something that you take from this book, you will be able to share with someone else. You will be able to encourage someone. And yes, you can encourage them to get the book, but you also are going to have it in you because you're able to help them in many ways that you probably didn't even think of because you've done the work. You've done the work to be that free person in your life. So I want you to claim your power. I want, even when the challenges come, step in your power. That is like, if you work with me, if I'm able to coach you, you're going to hear me say, how do you maintain your power position? That is one of my questions. How are you maintaining your power position in this situation? Are you here and the situation's here? Or are the situation here and you're here? So we want to switch. We need to make that transition to where you're looking down at the problem, not the problem, and you're looking up, because then you've diminished your power. Here, you're walking in your power. So claim your power as things come up. Things may be triggered. Things may be unearthed. And you forgot about it, and that's why you've been holding yourself back. But it's time to walk out, claim your power, claim who you are, right? And let go of anything and everything that is mess with your freedom. Remain open. I need you, when you're reading this book, to remain open. Don't read this book just to judge it because I wrote it, or you don't know me, or who is this, let me see what this is about. Remain open. Remain open to the change that is there. Remain open. And you can say, even, I've tried a lot of things. I've had therapy. I've had a coach. I've read all the books and nothing really works. Remain open. Remain open. Maybe you just need more seeds sown into your life. But remain open. Maybe it's so deep and hurtful what has happened to you that just not the therapy, the coaching, the books in the past haven't happened. Maybe this is just another one of those things. This book is one of those things that has helped build the bridge to the other side of your freedom. So remain open. And you got to remember, you're not alone. You're not alone. Many have walked this path before of being free. Many are walking the path with this book. and many will you will lead across. So remain open and be open to the community of free women that are out there, because you'll start connecting. You'll start having different friendships. You'll start having different things happening in your life because you're remaining open to what is happening. The time is now. So, I was watching, I won't date this, but I was watching something on television, and the word of the day, the word of the week for them was now, at this present time. And many times we'll say, yeah, I'm going to do that now, but then we ended up putting it off. Well, the time is now. The time for your freedom, for your authenticity to show up, for your power to show up, for your value to be recognized. The time is now. It is so deserving. You're so deserving. You're so deserving to be free. You're so deserving to have the freedom that is necessary to go to that next level where you see yourself, where you imagine yourself, where you desire to be. The time is now. And I also want to mention, give me 1 minute as I make sure my phone is on the right focus. I want to mention there's power in returning to this book as many times as necessary, because you can put it down and you can see some changes and you can think, yeah, I'm good, right? Just pick it back up when you need it. Pick it back up when you don't need it. Pick it back up, when you're just your morning devotion time and your evening going to bed time or your afternoon break. I remember before I started working for myself and starting my coaching and consulting services, on my breaks, I would go for walks and I would have something playing in my ear that motivated me. I would go into, we had these kind of like peaceful rooms that were designated to go in and have peaceful time. I can't remember what they were called. Quiet rooms, more like quiet rooms. And I would go in there and I would turn the lights off and I would play something. I created Think Up is an app that I love to use. Think Up. And I would have my own affirmations just playing on a loop. But these are the things, like, or I would take a book in there and I would, work on the book. I would apply the book, making notes. I would write it all on the pages. And speaking of notes, there's places in here, in between chapters, where you're able to it may be little. Let's see, how can I get this? It may be small places, but you're able to just jot notes. There's enough place in the margins, space in the margins, where you can make notes. So it's about, this book should be jacked up. I mean, it should have notes. I have books that have notes and all kind of pink colors and arrows and circles and reminding me of how I need to apply this to my day. And that's what I want you to do with this. So I do want to say it's a hardcover, and then there's the paperback. So you have the choices, and it's also on Kindle. So you're able to get the audio through Kindle and through this YouTube channel. All right, so that I want to go over just what the chapters are. Allow me. So chapter 1 is about defining your freedom. This is where we work through societal things that have stopped us, the view of women, the view of society, the way you were raised, the way you were taught, the examples that you were given by other people in your home, the environment that, or in your home or not in your home, the environment that you were raised in, how it affects your freedom mentality. So we go through that. And then there's the exploration and personal work. So not only is there a chapter where you're going to go over your definition of freedom, defining it. I want you to write your definition. How would you, and I ask you now, how would you define freedom? What does freedom look like to you? And how up to thus far, have you experienced freedom? Do you feel free? Do you feel controlled? Do you feel victim? Do you feel like you have to be hyper vigilant and that you have to protect yourself because everybody is out to get you? And there's no way you can feel free in this earth because it's just always been a struggle for you. Well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. So, one of the questions, and we're going to go chapter by chapter, but right now, this is the highlight. Take a moment to think about your current understanding of freedom. What does the concept freedom mean to you personally? Have your experiences shaped this understanding in any way? So, what is your concept of freedom to you? What does it mean? Many of us have different definitions. So you can't go, you can look it up if you need help, but that's not what this book is asking. That's not what I'm asking. I'm asking, what is your concept of freedom? What does freedom look like to you? Is it financial? Is it your health? Is it the way you move upon in this earth of being around other people? Are you extremely shy? Are you too loud? I mean, what does freedom look like for you? Is it an expression that you're holding back? Is it you've experienced some physical things that have mentally started holding you back? Or you have physical things that physically hold you back and you still want to learn how to be free in that. So what does freedom mean to you? And then how have experiences shaped that definition? And there is no wrong or right definition of freedom. It's your definition. It's your. And then I ask you to define freedom in your own words. Consider its emotional, social, and personal dimensions. So don't be just one dimensional with this. Consider it emotionally. How are you free emotionally? Are you one that holds in all your emotions? All right, I'm getting stuck. Let's keep going. Socially, personal. And then reflect on the idea of inner freedom as a foundation for you, the free woman. Have you experienced your life where inner freedom led to external liberation? So have you had some times where freedom has just liberated you? Let's talk about it. Let's share about it. All right, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more. So you see how these are the questions that you can actually journal about, that you can start a book club and actually have a woman's time together and talk and ask about these questions. If you have one, I want to be invited. If you have one, I want to be invited. Anyway, and then there's a section, putting it into practice. So this is also chapter 1. We're talking about putting it into practice. That's where we do a self-reflection journal. I asked you to do that. I asked you to question your beliefs, and that's a journal reflection. There's also set personal boundaries. We go over that. So that's those things that where you can put into practice, that you can apply it. There's 3 opportunities in every chapter where you're able to, and they have different questions. They're not just a repeat. That's something that helps you apply it in that moment. And then we move into chapter 2, where chapter 2 is about breaking chains. So unshackling societal expectations, breaking free from the mold that you've been in, the mold that society has put you in, the mold that your culture has put you in. Just breaking those chains. And so what has influenced you? What is holding you? One of the things we talk about in here is the power of self-awareness, knowing what has held you back. Some of us haven't dug deep enough to even know what is holding us back. And challenging gender roles and stereotypes, cultivating self-assertiveness. And then there's that exploration and personal work section. What societal norms or expectations have you felt pressured to conform to in your personal and professional life? That is a question. Now there is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 questions for you to explore more and to do your personal work. Whether it's you want to take this to your coach, to your therapist, whether you want to start your women's program, whether it's this is you got the footprint here. I hope you would call it the Free Woman Club or something. Yeah, and then I would love the Free Woman Chapter LA, this Free Woman Chapter New York. I would love that. Let me know. Um, so that is then we have the putting into practice. Create a personal expectation audit. So this is one of the things. This is one of the three. Create a personal expectation audit. Take some time to reflect on the societal and personal expectations that have influenced your life choices and decisions. Write down the most prominent expectations you've encountered, such as gender roles, career paths, or relationship norms. Then assess whether these expectations align with your authentic desires, your values, and then audit it. Audit it. Audit it. So this audit is there to help you identify areas where you can consciously break free from societal molds. Like I said, a lot of times we are not digging in to what is actually stopping us from being free. It's important that we have these audits. I mean, I know taxes. We used to being audited because they went, but we need to be auditing our own life, our own way of showing up, right? So that's chapter 2. Chapter 3 is embracing self-identity. The quest for self-identity, cultivating self-awareness, battling self-doubt and insecurities, nurturing self-acceptance and self-love, and the power of authenticity. And then there's that, or exploration and personal work. What does self-identity mean to you, and why is it important in your pursuit of freedom? Another one, how do your self-identity and self-worth impact your decision making, your relationships, and overall pursuit of freedom? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 personal work questions in this chapter. And then we have the area of putting it into practice. There's the self-reflection journaling. There's embracing vulnerability in relationships. Practice vulnerability in your relationships, both personal and professional. Do you know a lot of us are not professionally vulnerable? And many times we're like, well, that's suicide. Why would I be vulnerable at work professionally? But there's times and there's places. As I coach with executives, and if there are areas in the team that need to be adjusted, it's the vulnerability that makes the difference. It's the two people or the team that is having complications. It's the vulnerability, because we try to act like we're not human sometimes when we're at work, but it's the human things that interfere with work getting done. So practice vulnerability in your relationship, both personal and professional. Share your authentic thoughts and feelings with trusted individuals, allowing yourself to be seen and heard without fear of judgment. And it's amazing when that happens. When I have team of executives being vulnerable, being authentic, letting their feelings be out on the table, and it changes things. So that's the 3. Put it into practice. Chapter 4, which is part 2, empowering relationships. And this chapter 4 is about building healthy relationships, setting boundaries, recognizing signs of toxicity. I can speak. Navigating friendships, family dynamics, and romantic partnerships. We go through that. Cultivating healthy relationship with yourself. So there's the exploration and personal work. We have quite a few questions there. Can you recognize the signs of a toxic relationship or an unhealthy dynamics? How can you empower yourself to let go of such relationships? And another one is, how do you communicate your needs, desires, and boundaries to others in a way that fosters understanding and mutual respect? So, I won't go over anymore, but that we have quite a few. Let's see. I counted the other ones. So that's 13 questions. And then putting into practice, practicing authentic communication. So this is commit to practicing authentic communication. Well, you need to practice this in your relationship. This means expressing your thoughts, feelings, desires openly and honestly. So let me, for the people who are like, I communicate myself very clear. It's about not you communicate, but it's how you communicate. It's your delivery. I love mixing power and love, the great mixture. Powerful, and then you have that love. So it's the power that helps you deliver it, but it's the love for them to receive it. So power and love. So what we're going to do is I'm going to stop at chapter 5 and go ahead to the next video and you will learn more about the remaining chapters. So once again, I am Dr. Carla Michelle. I've just dropped the book, The Free Woman, How to Live Free Daily, and we are just going over the highlights of the book. Get your book on Amazon. The link will be provided for you, and I love to hear your comments, and join me back. All right, I'll see you soon.